Welcome back, Love Nation. This is Nina. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to everybody that has been coming to my channel. Like this video, share this video, and hit the notification bell so you guys know when I drop my next one. You guys, there has been a ton of documents uploaded into the docket, and I found volume 2 of Justin Baldoni's transcripts from his video recorded deposition. And I'm just going to be sharing a little bit of it with you guys right now. We'll just be reading a few minutes. Note that some of this does jump around from page and then it'll skip a few pages. I don't know why they don't just upload the entire thing all together, but to each his own. Let's get started. And again, I'll be coming back reading more later today, but I just want to get this out there. And here we go. This is the transcripts from the video recorded deposition of Justin B. And I'll be reading this where it says A, that is Justin answering. Q is coming from one of the lawyers. I'm going to try to read this in a order that's the most understandable. And just a note, Mr. Gottlieb is Blake Lively's lawyer, and Miss Shapiro is Justin's lawyer. Let's just get started. Now, this one starts on page 33. Again, I don't know why pages 1 through 32 is not here, but let's just go. So Justin answers, a set with all Baha'is? I don't know. Excuse me if I said Baha'is incorrectly. Then the lawyer asks, well, so you're the director and you're the co-founder of the studio. And I'm here and I'm asking you, okay? Justin says, yeah. Then Justin is asked, okay, someone has told me that your set is a Baha'i set, okay? Justin says, are you giving me a... Miss Shapiro objects. Then Mr. Gottlieb says, just let me finish my question. Justin says, okay. So, let's establish some principles. You're the co-founder of Wayfarer Studios, correct? Justin says, correct. You are the director of It Ends With Us, correct? Justin says, correct. Then Justin is asked, producer? Justin says, no. Then he's asked, lead actor? Justin says, second lead actor. Then Justin is asked, second lead actor. And I come to you now and I say, Mr. Baldoni, you're the director of this film. You're the co-founder of this studio. Someone, and again, it skips from 33 to page 38. And it says, we've become numb to it, and I'm speaking generally as a we, collective we, in order to have more of a shock effect. Then I think that's where Hollywood has gone and made. Like, adult activity has just become something that you expect to see oftentimes. That doesn't actually have to do with the storyline or I don't know if it necessarily moves the plot forward. So in that sense, I guess I would agree. And I think that in general, Hollywood doesn't make movies for the soul much anymore. It does. I mean, there are certain people that do, but I'm just saying it's definitely become much more about the attention and money and just competing with places for people's attention, and whatever they can shock them the most is what wins. Then it says from the lawyer asking Justin, you found it Wayfarer to be different from what you just described, is that right? Miss Shapiro objects. Then Justin says, I did. Then Mr. Gottlieb asks, you found it Wayfarer to be lights in the darkness, is that correct? Justin says that was part of the mission. Then he's asked, you in founding Wayfarer said that in Steve Surowitz you had resources and a partner who shared values and beliefs. Is that fair? Justin says yes. Then Justin is asked, do you recall saying about Wayfarer Studios that you and Mr. Heath were making a concerted effort to build a spiritual enterprise in every sense of the word, where everybody is free to have their own beliefs and express opinions that may be different from the executives or the shareholders, where there is true unity and equality across the board, and where we're mindful of the positions of power and how those power dynamics work. Justin says, was the question, do I remember saying that? Then Justin is asked, do you remember saying that? Justin says, it sounds more like something I've written. I'm not sure if it. Then the lawyer says, does it sound like something you would write or say? Justin says, I don't know if I'm that eloquent when I speak, but it sounds like it's definitely in line with something that I believe or aspire to. Justin is then asked, if I told you that the quote appeared out of a publication on Baha'is Teachings.org entitled Wayfarer Studios aims to be a light in darkness, would that refresh your recollection at all? Ms. Shapiro objects. Then Justin says, that will confirm it was probably something that I wrote versus something I said. Then then the lawyer says, okay, and do you believe that you have created a spiritual enterprise where everyone is free to have their own beliefs and express their own opinions that may be different from the executives or the shareholders? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin says, do I believe I've created it? Then Justin is asked, along with others, do you believe in Wayfarer Studios? You've achieved that objective. Justin says, to be very frank, I don't know that it's something that could ever be fully 100% achieved. I know we strive for it, but I wouldn't be comfortable saying we've achieved it. Then he's asked, okay, you strive for it. Justin says, strived, yes. Then Justin is asked, and in creating the culture at Wayfarer Studios, do you believe that you have tried to be mindful of the positions of power and how those power dynamics work? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin answers, again, it's something that we strive for. Not perfect at all, but strived. Then Justin is asked, as a director of It Ends With Us, do you believe you had more power than other members of the cast or crew that were not directors? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin says, in thinking about power dynamics, yes. Then Justin is asked, and you supervise essentially everyone who was on set, directly or indirectly, is that right? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin answers, I'm not sure if I would consider that my role as a director. Then he's asked, were you ultimately responsible for what happened on the set of It Ends With Us? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin answers, I wouldn't put that solely on the director, no, but I was party. Then Justin is asked, I didn't ask you. Justin says, responsible? Justin is asked, I didn't ask if you were the only person. Ms. Shapiro says, can you not interrupt his answer? Mr. Gollop says, you're right. Finish your answer, I apologize. Justin says, oh, I just said I wasn't. I don't think I was the only person responsible, but I was a part of that responsibility, of course. Mr. Gottlieb, the lawyer, asked Justin, okay, so I'm not asking if you were the only person who was responsible, but as a director, are you ultimately responsible for what occurs on the set of your movies? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin says, I'm not sure that I would completely agree with that, the way that the question is framed. Mr. Gottlieb asks, okay, what is it about the question that you disagree with? The framing of the question? Justin responds, I just think that the premise is off. Then he's asked, what piece of the premise is off? Justin answers, one of the director's jobs is to bring on a great team, and each of those team members have responsibilities. I think it would be impossible for a director to manage everybody. So there are department heads and producers and executive producers and all kinds of various jobs that each person have people reporting under them and that each have their own responsibility. So like if, something happened to an extra, I don't know if that's ultimately the director's responsibility. If the catering was cold that day, I don't know if that's the director's responsibility. If a stunt person is deleted. I don't know if that's the director's responsibility. There's a stunt department. So that's what I mean by premise. At least my understanding of what you were asking. So then Justin is asked, what about what the director does? Miss Shapiro objects. Mr. Gottlieb asks, who is responsible for that? Justin answers, could you be more specific? Then Justin is asked, well, the director is not responsible for the caterers or the stunt doubles, but what about the director? Is the director responsible for what the director does? Justin says, yes, of course. I was just answering your question to the best that I could. Then he's asked, okay, so we can at least agree that as a director of It Ends With Us, you were responsible for what you did on the set. Justin says, I was responsible for a lot, yes. Then he's asked what you did, what some other people did, that we'll have to define as we go through the day. But not everybody. Is that fair? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin says, not solely responsible for everything, but responsible, of course. I'm the director. Then Mr. Gottlieb asks him, okay, did Wayfarer Studios have policies and procedures that were in place during the filming of It Ends With Us? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin says, policies and procedures? Then Mr. Gottlieb asks Justin, any policies and procedures that were in place? Justin says, I believe so. And were those policies and procedures applicable to you as a director of the film, to the best of your knowledge? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin says, you have to be more specific of what policies and procedures that you mean. Mr. Gottlieb says, okay. Then Justin is asked, Mr. Baldoni, you've been handed a document marked as Exhibit 20. It's a document bearing the Bates number Wayfarer 139046 through 139076. And can you take a look? It's a lengthy document. Then Justin says, am I on this document? Then Justin is asked, take a look through the first few pages, and the first thing I'm going to ask you is if you recognize this, and then I will ask you some more questions. Mr. Baldoni, I think you've now had a chance to look at the cover letter. Justin says yes. Then the lawyer asks, and the table of contents? Justin says, I haven't looked at all the table of contents of it. Then the lawyer asks, you flip through it? Justin answers, would you like for me to look at them? Then Justin is asked, there's not going to be a quiz on it, I promise. Justin says, sure. Then Justin is asked, the first thing I want to ask you is, have you ever seen this? Not the text chain that's on the front, but the employee handbook that begins on this page with the Bates number 139049 on it. Justin says, I believe years ago, yes. Then he's asked, okay, and you and Mr. Surowitz sign off on the introductory letter to this handbook, is that correct? Justin says, our names are on it, so yes, we do. Then he's asked, so you are the co-chairman of the studio, is that correct? Justin says, correct. Then he's asked, is there any other chairman of the studio you're aware of? Ms. Shapiro objects. Justin says, just Steve Surowitz and myself. I am actually going to stop right here, you guys. I'm going to make another video. We're going to continue reading through this long document. There's a lot of pages. And I definitely want to know you guys' opinion about Justin's deposition so far. What do you think about this? Like, share, subscribe, you guys. Until next time, be safe and enjoy your day. Bye, guys.